Kabam released some stinky deals. Is the secret CTP presentation causing some overhype? And is Black Widow Deadly Origin really Yelena Belova? Yes, hello everybody and welcome back to Monday's edition of Marvel Contest of Champions News. Hopefully you had a lovely weekend, and this one is going to be a little bit of a juicy one because there's lots of stories that have dropped over the last few days, and as well as some opinion, thoughts, and well, let's place it, Platinumpool that we've got to address in this episode. And of course, before we get into the Marvel Contest of Champions News, I want to give a massive thank you to my current YouTube members, Patrons, and as well Twitch subs. And if you do have an Amazon Prime account and want to give a free Twitch sub, and as I always say, it doesn't have to be to me, but it massively helps me out as a creator to have that support from you. So I really appreciate that. If you want to do that, the on-screen instructions should be coming up around about now, and as well there's a link in the description that shows you how to do that. And obviously if you need to renew and put a new sub on for the month, please do. Thank you very much. And as well, massive thank you goes out to you, loyal viewer that always comes back to hit the like button, subscribe with post notifications on all, and try not to hit your mic, but make sure to comment down below on some of the topics that we're going to discuss in this edition today. So by the might of Thor's hammer, let's pull ourselves off into the news, shall we? Our first story begins with a little bit of a promo for the podcast that myself and Dan of Frontline MCOC do, and that is called the Contest Realm Podcast. Go and check it out, links in the description. And in episode 17 with the fantastic, by the way, forum master, which is DNA 3000, who puts together some incredible pieces of work, we discuss the problems with difficulty of story modes in Marvel Contest of Champions, and whether or not Kabam, based on some graphical information, could have got it wrong in the comparison of how they did Acts 5 compared with Acts 1 through to 4 and how they've done Act 6. It's well worth a listen. Go to links in the description down below. Next up, and I just want to have a look at and address some of these CTP presentation posts. Now, it does feel from a lot of things that I've seen that we've seen a little bit of like overhype. I'm just going to put you in a picture of where I'm at. Is I have not seen either of the presentations. I'm actually at this point still waiting for a write-up on what was actually discussed in those particular presentations. There have been notes by many people that have been sent through to me or discussed, but still it doesn't come direct from the horse's mouth. Not to be disrespectful to those that did the notes, but as well I want to gather the information from the horse's mouth. Either way, I can just comment on what things other people have said, like Lagacy saying about the presentation being this is something, or this stuff they've been working on for the last few months. And as well with other CTP members obviously saying that this is going to mean that things are going to get easier for people. At the end of the day, this still puts me into a very difficult position because I'm still working off secondhand information as I'm waiting for a write-up. And then obviously there will be NDAs and embargoes as to how thoroughly I can talk about something. But again, let me reiterate, based on what Lagacy has said in his tweet, is that this is something Kabam has been working on for a long time. But obviously that's another thing to understand. This, if it does go live whenever it does, or whenever it's in future going to be put in, the fact is, would it address the stuff that Kabam have largely been silent on in the last week? And you'd assume, and logically, no it wouldn't. So there would be a real issue by hyping something up which would not reflect what the player base want to see right now, rather than obviously saying what's been created a few months ago. Before we end the segment, there's two things I really want to point out. Number one, there is no shade towards any content creator for the CTP, but it's just to point out you've got to be mindful about some of the opinions that you might have, especially based on what I've just said a moment ago. And the second thing being, I am still awaiting a write-up fully on this to even gather an opinion. Yes, I have been given notes, but again, it's secondhand information. So me making opinions on stuff that, again, I do trust the people, but it's not from Kabam that have given me that information. So I'm still waiting to find out. And it may be a case that when they eventually announce it is when I'll actually find out at the same time, but I just don't know at the moment. Next up, and what are the updated theories to Platinumpool? As you know, one of the reoccurring themes of Marvel Contest Champions News is we do cover the updated situation when it comes to the incoming hijack transmissions. So many people have got different theories here, like I might be completely wrong on this one, but I wonder if it goes like this. 1% of my true power, I'm not sure for the first letters of each word in the name Platinumpool, 1% of my true power. Break into pieces, break his name into pieces, split the name into 5 pieces. Arm and leg, not sure, but A and L are in the name Platinumpool. put the pieces together, reassemble the name as something else. Puzzle, just letting you know what those are the clues, and says find him to be a friend, or maybe we need to find someone with that resembles the name, and friend them. Don't leave. Not sure. Now, I haven't personally been following anything from a riddles perspective, but obviously that is something that I should really consider now, because this obviously is a riddle. I've just been piecing them together as and when we've been getting more information. And that's the thing, we may be receiving some more. There may be an incoming transmission today, tomorrow, and more throughout the week, especially leading into the end of the month, leading to something specific. Or because it's Deadpool related, it's probably going to be something that leads you to a dead end, and it's actually been a red herring all along, just to get ruffle your jimmies at a point in time where maybe your jimmy shouldn't be ruffled. But we'll see how this kind of like develops with this investigation. It's been quite entertaining and quite fun to follow. Bit of positivity around the game. It's long overdue. Next up, and shout out to Dan of Frontline MCC for sending this through. So this is a behind the scenes interview with Kabam, focusing, I think this is on Kabam John. It gives his real second name as well, Gabriel Frazera. So that's been really cool to kind of like to read this through. I will pick out some things just to note out some interesting tidbits that it'll be nice to know. Now, this statement is by John Phillipson, who I'm pretty certain is Kabam John, saying, when we were making Korg, he never had the mechanic of gaining crowd excitement. Whenever you dodged an attack, this was only added because I found a method where you can sit in the corner and intercept him forever with ease, so the designer behind him decided to add that as a new mechanic. Sorry to all of you who had a worse time against Korg because of me. Ha ha. Damn you, John! Next up, and let's talk about these stinky deals. These stinky signature deals that don't really scale with the depreciation, continuation, and consistency when it comes to, well, buying something a year ago as to when we buy it now. Now, this was posted by Taters. If you don't know who Taters is, he was the leader, or the current leader of Full Loki. I don't really know. Met him at New York Comic Con. Sound guy. And the fact is, points out this, which is just a bit ridiculous, comparing off what you saw in 2019 versus today. And it is just really disgusting to see where there is a loss of the signature stones. Now, as you can see on the left, it says that you could get last year the +5 signature stones, so 4 of the +5. So essentially that's saying like 26. And obviously compare it what you see on the right, which obviously just shows like such a significant depreciation. But the fact is, Kabam could be doing so much more with the way they work on their deals. So something Kabam definitely need to work on when it comes to analysing how they're putting out their deals for players to buy. Next up, and it's theory time. Theory time based on Black Widow, and in particular Deadly Origin compared with the previous one. This was a very interesting forum post, and something that I wanted to kind of like deep dive a little bit more. Especially because, first of all, obviously you can tell this is the old Black Widow design. Whereas this Black Widow design obviously is Deadly Origin, but if you did notice, there is a difference, and that is that the eye color is different. With the eye color being that of green. Now, there's lots of disagreements on the facts of eyes and eye color. Do bear in mind that some comic books will look to change eye color slightly, and as well, what we'll be doing now is comparing off some of the movie versions in order to get a real idea if this is indeed correct or not. First of all, let's point out the fact that Scarlett Johansson's eyes are in like a greeny bluey type color. It's difficult to say is blue or is it green. It's more of a kind of like, it's a mix between both of them. From a comic book standpoint, Black Widow, as in Natasha Romanoff, has, well, blue eyes from what I've seen so far, and obviously, like I said, more likely with Deadly Origin that I've seen. The same thing really can be said for Yelena Belova, who has mainly blonde hair and bright blue eyes. So again, it's difficult to pinpoint why the champion is with the green eyes. But the really interesting thing is that Florence Pugh, who plays Yelena Belova in Black Widow, has more closer to greener eyes. Not exactly green, not the green that obviously we see in the Black Widow Deadly Origin, but still green enough to make people think that maybe this could have spoiled aspects of the film, but I don't know, because obviously you got to be under the understanding that at the end of Black Widow, Yelena Belova sports red hair and would continue on the Black Widow mantle. So I don't know. It's a bit of an out there thing to say. From a film standpoint, I don't know if it would be kind of weird that at the end of the film, Yelena goes, do you know what, in order to honor Black Widow, or sorry, Natasha Romanoff, I'm now going to dye my hair completely red and obviously continue on the mantle, which we have to then go past the events of Avengers Endgame in order to go like, oh, that's the reasoning for her doing it. Is there a reason that, you know, Black Widow sacrifices herself a lot more in Endgame in order to not just bring back everybody, but also some kind of like inner truth to what Yelena Belova has to do in the future, as Florence is going to take on the mantle of, or not mantle, but take on the character for Scarlett Johansson. There's a lot to this to just kind of go like, that is the case, that this could have spoiled the movie. I don't think this is something looking in too deep. But if we want to find out more, I guess we've got to wait until November in order to find out if these theories are indeed correct. But it's been interesting to deep dive this. What are your thoughts on this? Put it in the comment section down below. Next up, and it's arena predictions. I am really gobsmacked with the extent that people have put in for these champions, mainly to do with Black Widow Deadly Origin. Absolutely ridiculous. We went into high 60s for this champion in some cases. The lowest I can find for a 5-star is 65 that it went for. And then as well, when it comes to the 4-star, I've seen results of 12.6, Elektra 1.65. But it's the Deadly Origin one that is very, very strange with the amount that people have put in for it. I didn't see anything overly amazing about the champion. I didn't really kind of go like, right, this was something for me. But obviously there are people out there that did enjoy the champion from what they saw, and as well obviously from collecting the champion. Or maybe as well as there's some synergies in there that people really wanted. Either way, with the round 2, my predictions are down below for that, which really kind of emulate the results that I've seen currently. Like this player did 12.6 mil to get a 765 finishing point. And this player did a 68.1 million grind to get a position of 134. Yeah, some high scoring indeed. Obviously, I did put the predictions in that particular segment. Thank you very much for watching this Marvel Contest Champions news video. Obviously, all news will be out Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, unless there's something to talk about. Second video today, not quite sure, but lots to come in the future and this week. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one. Check out some content there. Bye-bye.